force you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Shocking allegation regarding the murder of Raj Clark's father. That's coming up on the broadcast, along with a whole lot more between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page, as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to our NewsSpin YouTube channel. Your calls at 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And Amanda, not Kimani, but Amanda, will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. We hope that you're having yourself a fantastic Friday and you're all set for an enjoyable and peaceful weekend. So in the wee hours of today, went on Facebook, logged on to the Can I Help You Facebook page, and tried to go through some of the main parts of Richard Frederick's program, which was aired last evening. And I stumbled upon a part where he made an allegation. I don't know if it's an allegation or he made a claim. But the source, the veracity of that information certainly needs to be checked out. Because for me, it's the very first time that I heard from anyone that Raj Clark's mother was implicated in the murder of his father, Afush. Very first time. And this, for me, it stunned me. It was shocking. I have never heard this from the police. I've never heard this from the relatives of the deceased. I'm talking about Afush. I've never heard that from anyone. So clearly there needs to be some kind of explanation. And maybe the Castries Central MP and the host of the program, Can I Help You, needs to help us to understand this and to provide us with greater detail. And maybe we need to hear as well from the hierarchy of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Know that the acting police commissioner is on vacation. We may need to hear as well from the National Security Minister, Home Affairs Minister. Because if somebody has been implicated in the murder of someone, so let's put it this way. A woman implicated in the murder of a boyfriend or her husband, this would have been or should have been thoroughly investigated. It means that the person was a suspect. It also means, in my layman's opinion and point of view, that maybe she would have been taken in for questioning. And the fact that she is a free woman walking the streets of St. Lucia, that there wasn't sufficient evidence. And for this statement to have been made, not only by a government minister, but by an attorney, something is awry as far as I am concerned. Because if the person was a suspect, yes, a suspect, I could understand the person was a suspect, taken in for questioning, was released, but to say that the person was implicated in a homicide, clearly we need further clarification and explanation. So let's listen to the host of Can I Help You, Richard Frederick, as he made that statement on his program last evening.
This boy goes on to say that I have countless allegations against me. And he qualifies it by saying there is no smoke, where there is smoke, there is fire. I'll tell you something, boy. I don't deal with smoke, I deal with fire alone. So whatever I tell you is fire. The smoke is gone. I don't deal with allegations, I deal with facts. Your father was killed on the third attempt. There were 3 attempts to kill your father. The first one, the bullet stuck in his locks. Okay? The second one, up the road by his Jabal, escaped. Third time he was gunned down. Are you aware that your mother was implicated in your father's murder? Are you aware? Are you aware that your mother was implicated in your father's murder? Are you aware? If you're not aware, and your Auntie Cheryl, who unfortunately again was gunned down, if she was alive, she would have told you that your mother was implicated in your father's murder. Or if her husband, if Auntie Cheryl's husband, who was shot days before her, again, who was shot days before her, if he was alive, he would have told you. And those are not allegations, those are facts. He would have told you. And there are people who can tell you, but they'll not tell you.
This was not generated by AI. It's the real thing. And this was extracted from the program Can I Help You, aired last evening on NBC, and the host, Richard Frederick. How did he get all that information? That is another thing we have to ask. Not only focusing on the veracity of the information that he has provided, but how did he get that information? Maybe he got it directly from the police. Just making an assumption there. But to say that the bullet stuck in Afush's locks, you're talking about critical information, crucial information as well. And I remember covering this particular homicide, and it was not furnished with that kind of information, sensitive information at that, by the police. So we should not leave it there. We should not move on as we like to do, flit from issue to issue without solving anything, without clarifying certain things that might be confusing or might be murky. Because a lot of events which occurred, particularly during 2010, 2011, would have been very much scrutinized by the Americans, and based on what has transpired, the Americans would have taken a particular course of action, which certainly would have had serious implications for us in St. Lucia. And we are still feeling the effects of those things. That will include, in the case of certain police officers, their visas being revoked, and also through the lay law, the Americans deciding to withdraw assistance, financial assistance to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, as well as opportunities to hone the skills of our police officers. we're still paying a price. Impacts still very much unresolved. So to hear this, you could imagine hearing this in Jamaica, more progressive countries in the Caribbean and Barbados. This would have been the subject of an investigation. In the case of St. Lucia, I could imagine that the island's Prime Minister, who might be listening right now, and Minister with responsibility for national security, would not be moved to provide any kind of clarification as far as this allegation is concerned. Because you're not talking about an ordinary individual who's making that allegation of somebody's girlfriend or wife being implicated in the murder of the husband. And also, do not forget, the homicide victim, his son, is now a candidate scheduled to contest the Castries Central seat in the upcoming general election. And who knows how this thing will play out. But in St. Lucia, we certainly can be very curious, but nonetheless, we are never forceful in satisfying our curiosity when it mandates getting an explanation from our leaders, from those who are in office. Whether it is the government of the SLP or the UWP, we are just so quick to sweep things under the carpet. Let me take you down memory lane. Some 12 years ago, a particular foreign minister made reference to the Americans and the revocation of then government minister Richard Frederick's diplomatic as well as personal U.S. visa. And we had a report that was filed then by Pete Ninval, who was the news director of DBS Television.
Rufus Bousquet says when Richard Frederick's visas were revoked, some persons saw it as a political tool. But he says it's bigger than that and has to do with nationalism, respect for St. Lucians and due process. And in the case of the unnamed senior police officer whose U.S. visa has also been revoked, Mr. Bousquet feels there should also be due process and disclosure so St. Lucia knows what it's dealing with.
At this point in time, we really don't know who we're dealing with. We don't know what that person is supposedly guilty of. I have my suspicions. You know, I believe, based on a meeting that I had with the embassy officials prior to anybody's visa being revoked, there seemed to be a tremendous amount of interest in extrajudicial killings. And I suspect that somehow or the other persons have gone to the United States Embassy and have put things in the minds of officials in the United States Embassy with respect to what has been going on in St. Lucia.
According to Mr. Bousquet, when the former administration clamped down on violent crime, it may have been put over to the Americans as something that was being done to hide the secrets of certain politicians. A total of 11 criminal suspects were fatally shot by police last year, including 5 who were killed in a single incident in Viewport.
I think this message was communicated to the United States Embassy, and I think as a result of that, they tied in certain police officers, they tied in certain politicians, and I suspect that is why it's being done. That is my view. But it's only my opinion. I have absolutely no evidence other than the fact that the Americans expressed a tremendous amount of interest in that particular area and wanted to get information on why the police were killing these people, why they were not given due process, and so on and so forth. I don't know. I wasn't there, you know, but certainly these are matters that need to be looked into, and the United States should express that to us, if that is in fact the case.
Mr. Bousquet believes such a development will facilitate a government investigation, which will in turn enable the police to legally establish that the fatal shootings were not carried out, according to him, with any ulterior motives. For the DBS News World, Pete Ninval reporting.
This one was filed by Pete Ninval of DBS Television some 12 years ago. Let me hear from you at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. I suspect we have a very active chat room. Amanda, what is happening there? Anything to report?
Timothy, a few comments. Someone says that particular talk show host is the most dangerous that could ever happen to St. Lucia. Another comment, so how the minister knows about that information? Someone says RF knows everything and will twist the truth to suit himself. Another comment reads, after listening to Richard Frederick's show last night, I completely understand what Dr. Kenny Anthony meant when he said that Richard Frederick is the scariest thing to ever happen in St. Lucian politics. I pray that God, through whatever means, remove this thug from our politics. Leave him with his talk show if you must, but get him out of politics. Another comment, so how does he know all that? When you realize you may not be able to enter the US in a few months, you think it's a joke?
You have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Tim, I'm always listening to your program, and that's not something I usually do, call back to back, you know. But you said you went on some Facebook page and you got that thing from a talk show host. Am I right or wrong?
That's exactly what I said, sir.
Okay, so that's that show. What's the name of that show, Lord? Help me out.
Caller, this is NewsSpin is not a show for is a
Okay,
kindergarten. NewsSpin is not a kindergarten show. NewsSpin is not a kindergarten show.
Talk show. Tim, that talk show they call "Can I Lie to You?" I believe St. Lucian better be careful with that talk show host because he has all sorts of names. They used to call him Pete Shit. That's what I know. Pete Shit, and it's endless shit the man talking about. Because every time something coming out is not anything. This guy does have an issue to educate the nation. It's like a rural there, a rural there, a rural there. I mean, to put the man's mother in that kind of thing, Tim. St. Lucia, we need to wake up. We need to wake up. We did not put politicians to go and have talk show and lie. Instead, they bring in the country forward. And people in Central Catherine, most of you all are educated. I want you all to take this thing serious. Because when we have an MP like this man, he's damaging Central Catherine's reputation as a voter in Central Catherine. The man is disrespecting all of us. So the only thing we have to do right now for Catherine Central to have that kind of respect by going to the ballot box when the election and vote this guy out. Can I lie to you? We cannot take this thing anymore. Tim, yesterday, Jeremiah Norbert, I am sending this message to you, my boy. You're young. You have to respect people. Do not take sicknesses and go on public media houses and lie to the nation. You should say, praise God that you was airlifted to Martinique to get the treatment that you got. And you said in your town hall meeting that you know the guy very well. He still has a sticker on his vehicle. You never love nobody because you joined the devil. And that is the reason why the Labour Party now cannot tell people nothing that's important. The only thing they goes out there and do is to lie to the nation. And I am calling on all St. Lucians, throughout St. Lucia, to debunk the St. Lucia Labour Party and to vote them out when the election is called. Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. 452-2979, 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. Let's see there if we have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says, Tim, I have a GoPuel for Rick. I really need my daily dose of Rick. Maybe he might call today. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody says, I'll repeat myself again. Richard Frederick said Guy Joseph offered a bribe of $5 million to himself and Stevenson King. Whilst in government to this day, no investigation has been done on this occasion. Why is that? We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Hi, Tim.
Hi. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon. This is Dominic Fede. Tim, I was going to call your show to respond to a lot of the brainless nonsense that was said last night. But I haven't heard your clip. My whole theme of my presentation has changed. Tim, this is the most horrendous day in our political history. I have never ever seen the politics of this country go so low. Richard Frederick, congratulations. You are single-handedly in an annal of history all by yourself as the worst politician to have ever graced the presence of our country. Tim, nobody in St. Lucia has ever heard publicly the details that the minister shared on his show. Tim, the minister has an obligation to tell the nation where did he get the information from. We have not heard this from the police. We have not heard this from the DPP. We have not heard this from any of the officials. This is not on the public record. And a man who says that he orders the police, that he called the SSU to go and do a patrol in a part of the city center, is now spewing such nonsense. This is serious, Tim. He pulls his gun on his neighbor, a man who is synonymous with all kinds of bad behavior, kicks a police vehicle, slaps a gentleman with the surveillance video shows in public by the casino. St. Lucians know all of this very well. Goes on his show, spews stuff about women, young women, older women. And today he attacks another woman in the most vile and the cheapest manner. You know, even Richard Frederick, I gave faith, Tim, that could have never ever brought himself to this level. But you know, I have now come to realize that Richard Frederick is a special kind of human being. And Kenny Anthony was right. He is the most frightening thing to have happened to the politics of this country. Tim, the DPP needs to come out and to explain how does Richard Frederick have this information. And the DPP needs to either confirm this information or denounce it as garbage. But Tim, this is really a low attack on the family of Mr. Raj Clark, a young man who has put himself to stand up for this country, to serve this country, to help to make St. Lucia better. And then this idiot goes off and says all kinds of garbage. Tim, I stand with Raj Clark. And I want to say this, and I hope RF is listening. I will be campaigning with Raj. I will be standing with Raj. I will be there, Tim, putting the most energy in Castries Central to make sure that this kind of politics, that this scoundrel of our political system will never, ever, ever climb the steps of Parliament again to enter the chambers of our House of Assembly. Tim, this is terrible. This is bad. But more importantly, Tim, the statement by Rufus Bousquet was very telling. There you have a foreign minister who is in the same cabinet with Richard Frederick, says that he met the Americans, and the Americans had very deep interest about the extrajudicial killings. And the minister, who obviously was holding a lot back in the name of diplomacy, the minister went out to say as much as this, to say that the Americans were very interested in ministers who were involved in those extrajudicial killings. it then raises the questions, who are those ministers that Rufus Bousquet were referring to? And whether, in fact, Richard Frederick was one of those ministers that his Foreign Affairs Ministry colleague was referring to in that rather unfortunate time of our country. And so, Tim, this is shocking. I never thought that Richard Frederick could ever shock me, but the reckless statement made by him last night is very telling and really leaves a lot of questions unanswered, Tim. It opens other ideas and the curiosity and intrigues the mind to ask, what else does Richard Frederick know about the killing of Rush's father? What else does he know? Why is he in possession of such intricate details, and you go to use this as a political weapon? I mean, this is sick. This is horrendous. This could only be done by an individual who's got his own problems with his own life. I don't think counseling can do anything for him, Tim. Wow.
Okay,
but,
sir.
Tim, this also shows us that Philip Perry is a weak prime minister, because this is not the first time that Richard Frederick has told us that he has a very incestual relationship with the police force. Now, at least that's what he claims. I'm not saying that that is correct. But remember, in the Dale Elliott incident, he went on and he said that he called the police and the police gave him the files. And these are all stuff that he has spewed. And it really then makes it very frustrating and deflating to most St. Lucians who are listening to his reckless statements as to whether we are in a position as a country, if the executive or police force who is so tied up with a government minister, as he claims, as to what's really going on in the crime-fighting efforts. And the police commissioner, the prime minister, who's also the home affairs minister, must come out and to deny that what Richard Frederick has said is actually untrue. But as long as Philip Perry is going to harbor such an incestual, unprofessional, dangerous relationship, albeit suggested by the Minister of Housing, I mean, how do you get involved as housing minister? You haven't built one single house in St. Lucia in the last 4 years, except for the 4 houses in Dennery. But how do you get involved in a police matter? How are you so tied up with the SSU? How are you so tied up with the details of Rush's father, and you're not even the Minister of Home Affairs? It raises some very serious questions. And Tim, we must all stand up and we must all raise our collective voices to get this scoundrel out of our politics. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Political Leader of the Opposition, UWP, Dominic Fede. Some more comments in the chat room. Let me turn my attention again to...
Lord have mercy, why is a minister saying these things publicly? I have already given up on St. Lucia. Another comment reads that this is the type of destructive government St. Lucians wanted. Someone says the entire police force needs to be investigated. A NewsSpinner says some criminal lawyers have all the evidence, but so many unsolved homicides. Why? Another comment reads that this government minister has no class, no integrity, no character. The more you lower the bar of expectations, this government minister is able to pass right under it. Another comment, so isn't Rush a victim of those murders? Is that how this government treats children whose parents, aunties, uncles, etc. were murdered? Another comment, Richard, how low can you get? You couldn't find anything on Rush, so you go after his family. Wow, man, you don't fear God. Another comment reads, either he was the person's liar or the police. Now, if he was the person's liar, there is a lawyer-client privilege. I need the barrier association to come out. Rush should file a lawsuit. Someone says, release the impacts report, more information will come out.
You have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Timothy.
Yes, sir.
The friendly neighborhood atheist.
Good afternoon to you, caller. What's on your mind?
Good afternoon, Amanda.
Good afternoon, caller.
Well, I have lots on my mind, First of all, tell Amanda I don't want her to give up her religion in any sense. That's not the point I was trying to bring across. And I had I've been meaning to tell you that I listened to your last DBS News
Newsmaker Live?
Newsmaker Live with Rick. Correction to Rick. I don't think Thomas Paine was ever the president of the United States. And in the same vein, I have another book to suggest to you. It's called Thomas Paine and the Age of Reason. Anyways, Tim, Richard Frederick is an obscurantist, Tim. Richard Frederick takes truth and facts and he mixes up together with his propaganda, and I wouldn't call it lies or whatever, but he's sort of a con artist in a way. First thing he did, let me tell you, is making mention of the young man's parents or whatever getting murdered on your show, then saying, oh, it's a fact. It's a fact. Yes, it's a fact. But what he's implying is that because his parents were murdered, does that make him a criminal?
No, his parents were not murdered. It's his father and his aunt. And I think his aunt's husband also murdered. But his mom is still alive. What he's doing is he's saying that the mother, Rosh's mother, was implicated in the murder of Rosh's father. That's the story.
Oh wow. That is a very, very, very sad thing for the minister to do. And another thing he's running with is what Rick Wayne said about him being the hardest working politician. But Rick Wayne left that statement a little incomplete. Rick Wayne should have said that he's the hardest working politician when it comes to maintaining or gaining power. He's not actually doing much for the people in terms of hard work. You understand what I mean? That's what Rick should have said. Rick should have completed that statement by saying that when it comes to gaining power...
hold on, caller. Rick said what he wanted to say. So you can't say that Rick... No. It's not for you to say Rick should have said. Rick said what he wanted to say.
Well, yes and no, but I'm saying that he should have completed the statement by saying, I'm not trying to pick up beef here with you or Rick or whatever. I'm not Richard.
No, I know. I know. But you're saying Rick should have said. If you know Rick very well, he said what he wanted to say. That's all it is. If you get my point.
But then a lot of people misunderstood the statement, including and ran with it and said, oh, you understand how, you know how our population is, Tim, the way they think. Like some of them, they don't really think on a profound level. They just surface level. Okay, kasa misi disa, kasa sasisa. Just like when our PM just came out the other day and said about how lies. Can you imagine the amount of people who never took the time to see or listen to what Shastny had to say about that particular situation? They all believe that Shastny is just telling lies.
Somebody in the chat room said Rick is a Suse. I don't know.
I don't know. Rick is an institution. Rick may have his shortfalls along the way. All of us do, but Rick Wayne is an institution in the team. We should appreciate Rick Wayne while he's still around. And one day, perhaps you should dedicate an entire show to Rick, where we hear his views on certain subject matter. And so on and so forth.
Rick has been on NewsSpin before. Don't forget that. He has been on a couple, at least once, I think.
I know. We may all die before Rick, but, the time is, the older you get, the more likely. You understand what I mean?
It's more pressing now.
More pressing, yeah. And, we already live in a dead hero society. So I think we should give Rick his flowers before the time. You understand what I mean?
Okay.
I may go before Rick, but one last thing before I go.
Mm-hmm.
Big up Mr. Rigobert, wherever he stand up in the world, sit down, lay down, or wherever. Mr. Rigobert, I personally, we may share our different views, but I love you, sir. I love you. I love your character. I love what you bring to the show. And big up Alan Shastny. Anyway, take care. Tim,
all right.
Care, man.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. Calling all the way from Canada. Let's see if we could take another call. Once again, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
I think your landline may have some issue because I've been calling it. I'm not getting through on it.
Well, you got through on the other line.
Yes, yeah. I just wanted you to know in case there might be a problem with the landline. Yeah. Yesterday I didn't get an opportunity to get a call in concerning the situation with Norbert and the Prime Minister. Tim, we don't have impeachment in St. Lucia in our books. You're not aware?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Well, there should be, because that definitely would be something in need of impeachment, Tim, because based on the evidence that has presented itself, it is very, very, very clear that the Prime Minister lied. And today, for once on your show, you cannot tell anybody not to call that individual a liar, because it is very clear based on the evidence that he has in fact lied. And Tim, it is very, very sad that this is what we have representing our nation, our beloved nation of St. Lucia. For cheap party politics, the Prime Minister of the country would come out with such a low blow and actually brings on another actor for 5 minutes for that particular scene in that play. And Tim, I don't know, but there must be something on our law books that we should be able to bring in the chains or the reins or whatever it is, on various ministers, Tim. It cannot be that as a minister, as a Prime Minister, you have the privilege of saying and doing whatever it is you want at any time, and there is no kind of punishment for that. We need to do something about this thing, because our country is not, in my opinion, is not going in the right direction with that kind of thing. And I don't think the former Prime Minister had any intention whatsoever of making this public, but to have gone on a political platform and to have said that, I think his hand was actually forced into doing something, because obviously what was done in the interest of a fellow St. Lucian. I don't think there was any political game played with it at the time. I think the former Prime Minister also came in defense of somebody who's not even a supporter. So once again, he is demonstrating that the party colors really makes no difference to him when it comes to the livelihood of the people. So, he is just mentioning the fact that a man that went through a similar situation, who is now in the ministry that is responsible for the very people, for these kind of people, somebody who imagine a double amputee, Tim. This man, I don't think his amputation was anywhere close to what this gentleman suffered. He spent 2 months in Martinique rehabilitating, and you mean to tell me he spends 12 days, less than 12 days in a cemetery after his legs being amputated, 2 legs? This is where all your major veins and blood vessels are flowing. That your thighs are some of the biggest muscles in your body, and to think that this man was discharged only after 2 weeks from hospital after double amputation, there is definitely some kind of negligence there, Tim, and we are in some trouble when it comes to our healthcare system. And I don't know, the Prime Minister really, really needs to recognize what his role is and do better. I think he needs to introspect at this point and do a lot better. And if there's something, on the books that could get him to come in better than that, we should invoke that, whatever it is. I don't know if there is something.
Okay, caller.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. 452-2979, 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Once again, 452-2979 and 716-2026. Amanda, what is happening in the chat room in terms of the comments there?
A commentator reads, politics is all about policies. Let's be guided accordingly. Beware of rhetoric that persuasive language impresses their audience but lacks sincerity or meaningful content. Another comment, we have a DPP only in symbolism. The man is MIA. Commentary reads, considering RF is so knowledgeable in this case, is he helping the police solve those murders? Can we expect to see someone arrested soon as the minister is so invested in this case? Another comment reads, the man can't be helped by counseling. What Richard Frederick needs is an exorcism.
We have a call online, and it's Raj Clark. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Hi, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Clark. Good afternoon.
Good team. Good team. Rick, Tim, I found myself just taking a look at this show as of last night. And this morning, to my surprise again, it's the topic of discussion. Let me make this very clear. With what is said about my mother on this drama cheerleader show, it is beyond disgusting to even suggest that she was someone who involved in my father's murder is just a lie. It's a new low, Tim. Even for a minister. But I am not surprised. Not one bit. This is who he is. This is what he does. Once again, you have Richard Frederick attacking a woman. And this man is on the back foot. Who does he attack first? A woman. And let me take this time to use this as a warning to everyone. If he can go this low, no one is safe. This is the kind of politics that this man thrives on. If you dare to oppose him or you're not part of his political parade, he will drag you, your loved ones, even the dead through the mud. This is the behavior of a desperate, power-hungry misrepresentative who would rather peddle filth than address the real concerns of the people. Now, you see, this old dragon loves taking credit for everything in the city. But the only thing that he should be accredited for is the disgraceful, frog-faced politics that has poisoned this country. He has turned leadership into a dirty, nasty game where the truth doesn't matter and integrity is nowhere to be found. And let's talk about this segment because it was part of the show where he indicated the word Gambino. Absolute nonsense. To affiliate me in that. Absolute nonsense. He wants to focus on every cousin, every neighbor, every Tom, Jack, Jill that I'm supposed to know. But let's focus on what really matters. Let's focus on him for a second. But let me remind everyone listening. Every so-called Gambino knows who sits at the top of the table. So when you speak on criminals, when I spoke, Tim, on criminals in power, criminals leading this government, it seems that somehow one of them was affected. It seems that I apparently hit the nail on the head. The one running the show or running the organization took offense. Well, if the cap fits, wear it. The people of this city are getting tired with these lies and that level of filth and that rubbish that has been brought towards politics. You want to take credit for refurbishing community centers. Then if you should do that, then put a done by Richard Frederick on every unit of every garbage bin across the city. At least that way we know where to put all the can I help you rubbish. This is the level to which this man will stoop to maintain a grip on power. His words are a reflection of the politics that we are witnessing today. A pathological narcissist who will disrespect and insult anyone for views. And trust me, with all his self-praise, Well, all that self-praise that he does on this show, this is why I try my best to not even take this on. This is absolute rubbish. If all that self-praise that he does, the truth, and I repeat, the truth will come forth. No matter how much this minister tries to suppress it with lies and distraction. Tim, I just wanted to give my take on this situation. Right?
But allow me to ask you this. You've spoken to your mother since this statement was made?
Yes, Tim, I am. When my mother, someone actually sent the clip to my mother this morning, and she was distraught when she saw this. But again, my mother has a strong will, and she felt to herself that again, for someone to go so low and say these things, these are persons that again, at one point in time, found themselves again assisting, being on ground, doing the necessaries to ensure that even when this individual was part of the United Workers' Party, supported, and because the change occurred, because he has been no longer part, and right now, as an independent, struggling between the Labour Party, right, he's taking this level of desperate action and willing to find himself assaulting anyone. Once again, another woman.
But let me ask you, the murder of your father, also your aunt and your aunt's husband, what impact this has had on you over the years?
Tim, growing up, the impact that this had on me has been one that has distorted me, has one that did its utmost best to break me down, me and my family, those closest to me, even individuals throughout this city. Individuals, again, throughout this city were distorted. This morning, I think I got nearly about 50 persons calling, following upon the level of disgust with what they saw on the show, and them indicating the fact that one way or the other, they believe some action should be taken. And I'm saying this morning, I wanted to just call in on the show and give my remarks, because I want to remind us as a people that this is not where we're supposed to be focusing on. This is not where we should see a representative. This man has shown no qualities of what it is to be honorable. None whatsoever.
So finally,
Tim, this is my take on
yeah, but finally, is that the first time that you're hearing that your mother was implicated in the murder of your father? Is that the first time you're hearing this?
Tim, all of this stems as news, and not only just news. These are absolute lies. Absolute lies. Today, several members of my family got hurt, felt hurt and disappointed, even if the stage of where this political battle is being undertaken.
Is it causing you to have a change of heart, change of mind as to whether to continue as the candidate for Castries Central?
Tim, I am committed to the purpose at hand. This city needs better representation. This city needs an individual that understands what it is to care, to be supportive, and be there for its people. What we're seeing right now is clearly an individual that has none of these qualities. None of these qualities whatsoever. And most surprisingly, everyone is even more surprised on the fact that all this information he has at bay. So the questions asked by the earlier individuals, even Mr. Fede, all of these questions do stand out. Here you have a minister that is aware of all of this information, and still questions are then asked to the involvement.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for speaking with us on this afternoon's NewsSpin program. Just heard there from the United Workers' Party candidate for Castries Central, Mr. Raj Clark. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbutai at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
NewsSpin is transforming how you move. With our new electric vehicle charging stations, getting a quick and reliable charge is easier than ever. From Rodney Bay to Dennery, Viewport and Soufriere, we've got you covered. Our cutting-edge network offers both fast and standard charging options. Convenient, efficient, and always ready when you are. Just download the Flash Charge app from Google Play or the Apple App Store, and with a few simple taps, you can set up an account and link it to a credit card. Find a station or scan the QR code to start charging in seconds. Lucilac is powering your journey and driving us toward a cleaner, greener future. Charge ahead with Lucilac's EV stations. Lucilac electric vehicle chargers, powering progress, energizing the future.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control. All so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
Are you tired of going from doctor to doctor, spending time and money, yet still not getting the answers you need? Now, at La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, we bring you the latest in medical technology, our state-of-the-art radiation-free full-body MRI. With unmatched accuracy, we can detect illnesses early, giving you the answers you deserve and the treatment you need, saving lives and saving money. No doctor referral needed. Results in just 24 to 48 hours. Plus, a free consultation with a doctor to explain all your results in detail. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer and book your full body MRI at our Cocoville, Rodney Bay, or Castries locations. Call 451-6559 now. La Clinique du Corps. Your health is our priority.
Essie, don't tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vidbutai. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It is called NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. We take your calls right now. We are also on the NewsSpin Facebook page and also the NewsSpin YouTube channel. In a bit, we'll be going through some of your comments in the chat room. So please stand by for that and a whole lot more. We have a call on WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello. Okay, let's try again. Good afternoon, NewsSpin, you on the air?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah. Tim, I've stayed away from the calls for a while because I usually am on for longer than most people. And I thought I would just listen, take some time to listen to the feedback of what's happening in the country and how people feel about it. I like to do it every now and again. And today, I feel really, really sorry for my country. Tim, I am not a hopeless kind of guy. People say to me, do you feel St. Lucia is doomed? And I say, yes, St. Lucia is doomed. And then I add, if we continue as we are. You get my point?
Yeah.
So if we continue as we are, if we continue as we've been doing for the last God knows how many years, we are doomed. And more countries are going to start sending the deportees to us, those from St. Lucia, and we're going to have to deal with whatever that brings. And if we continue to be as we have been, the more new problems pile on us, the closer we are to the end of the road. Am I clear on that?
Absolutely, sir.
Because I suspect I have to speak very slowly for some ears. And I thank you for making the point to the gentleman that Rick Wayne said what he wanted to say. That's correct. No more, no less. I say what I want to say. And those who don't understand it, then ask a friend to explain it to them. But I think I speak clearly enough. Tim, there's a saying that you can't see the forest for the trees, which means people dwell so much on the obvious or whatever that they don't get to the meat. There's also another meaning, another line I want to quote just to shake your minds again. This one is from John Locke. He says, where there is no law, there is no freedom. And a woman called Rebecca, she's an advocate, Rebecca McKinnon says, there is respect for law, and then there is complicity in lawlessness. And that's what we have in this country. Massive complicity in lawlessness. From the average fisherman to the highest judge to the holiest of priests, they are all disasters and shameless. They say nothing about anything. And when they purport to say something about something important, they talk a load of fluff and crap, either because they're not used to expressing themselves or they are into the matter of complicity in lawlessness. We didn't get where we are just like nature, you know. We brought ourselves here. We dragged ourselves into that cesspit. Tim, I like to think I know a lot about the impacts matter and the situation leading up to the impacts matter. But for all I know, and I know things that I am not at liberty to talk about because they're so sensitive. But never have I heard as much detail about our most famous unresolved murders that I heard last night. Was that clear?
Very much so.
Hello?
Yes, very much so, Rick.
Good. Tim, boy, I'm at a loss of words, you know. I'm really, really at a loss of words. And the fact not one lawyer, not one concerned citizen will call and try to explain to the people what they heard last night and the significance of that further convinces me about the state we are in. Not one lawyer will call up and say. They will leave it to people who are not in a position to be able to talk usefully about the heart of the matter. So they will concern themselves with what they think of Richard Frederick, what he is, whether he's fat or he's not fat, he's ugly. Those things have absolutely nothing to do with what the gentleman said last night, Tim, and the consequences. If I remember correctly, Richard Frederick last night explained that a particular casualty in our most famous homicides was shot not just once, Tim, shot at not just once, but 3 times. That a bullet, the first bullet didn't kill him because it lodged in his hair. Do you know how delicate information, how delicate such information is? And who is likely to know something like that? And if you know that, have you reported it to the police in their inquiries? Richard Frederick is a lawyer. He knows all about saying things out of turn. He knows all about sub judice. He knows all about everything. And he confidently sits on the show and tells the whole world, including the American embassy, because the American embassy was this was not just a set of murders, you know. We spent a lot of time and money trying to resolve the impact situation. And Kenny Anthony's name keeps on coming up. I don't know where the man is hiding. His name keeps on coming up, being cited everywhere. And I will tell you again, he said, unless that impact situation is put to rest properly, we will not have law and order in this country. Lives will not be safe. The police will not do what's expected of them. They will not go to certain places. The police will be at the mercy of people who offer them money for information, and all. We will have a lawless. I'm trying to find a way to go with a lawless law department, a law protectors of law. We've also heard from a report that the whole world heard about who the facilitators of the criminality that occurred in 2011, 2010. We hear where they come from. They are in government. They are ministers of government. They're politicians, and so on and so on. And a politician who was at the time in office comes on the air and boldly states that one particular woman, the wife of a victim, was implicated in his shooting death. You hear that well? You hear the details about the shots that were fired, how many, and why the first 2 didn't kill. Then you hear who is implicated, and the rest of it, Tim. I have never read this. I have never heard this. The DPP has not said it. They've talked about reopening inquest. Nothing has happened. This is bigger than Richard Frederick. It is bigger than almost anything I can think of. If that is not properly resolved, St. Lucia goes to the bush. to the bush. Now, Mr. Rush, I can just put myself in his shoes. Whatever
well, you
pain
can't,
that guy
You
would have gone
can't.
through,
You can't put yourself in his shoes, Rick.
I don't think anybody can.
Yeah.
You can only imagine it.
Yeah.
So imagine your mother, the father, your aunt are gunned down like dogs in the street.
No, his mother was not
There's
gunned.
no resolution.
Hold on, Rick. His mother was not gunned down because don't forget, the mother is being implicated in the murder of the father.
Where's the mother?
So the mother is very much
So
alive.
the mother is alive?
Very much alive.
My goodness. So it's the aunt, the father,
And
who are killed.
and the aunt's husband.
So there were 3 deaths?
3.
And the mother was implicated in 1, according to Mr. Frederick.
Right, in the father's death. In his father's death.
So we may well speculate, since there is no resolution, about the implied possibility that she may have been involved in all the deaths. People can arrive at that conclusion regardless of how bizarre, all because of the statement made. Am I right?
Yes, you're correct.
And nobody is going to get to the root of that. Nobody is going to ask questions. Mr. Frederick has said some stuff there that I don't believe anybody knows anything about. Or if they do know, they've kept it to themselves for court reasons, investigative reasons. Whoever did the inquest. And that statement also casts a not so nice light on whoever did the inquest on those deaths. Was it Dr. King?
I'm not too sure. But we're very likely.
No? Pardon me?
Very likely it's Dr. King.
Well, I hope Dr. King gets to hear about that and verifies it, validates it, or whatever, because this is very, very troublesome. And that comes at a time when Mr. Frederick has also said he gets information, big show, from the police. Mr. Frederick evidently inhabits and at a stratosphere in this country way above everybody else. He breathes a certain air that regular people don't breathe. What is the Prime Minister, who in fact is our protector of the law and of everybody in the country, regardless of how deep the color is tinted or otherwise? The Prime Minister is responsible for that. And if this goes on without some kind of explanation or some kind of some reasonable reaction, it can only get worse. It cannot reverse. It can only get worse. This country is getting more and more dangerous. You cannot know who you talk to. People are afraid to speak. Is that how we're going to run a country? A country where people are afraid to speak? And is that being done in the name of politics? Is that supposed to sully or make Raj Clark less a potential good minister because his relatives were killed? I heard Frederick saying the other day, after talking in the past sympathetically, talking like family of the victims at the time, etc., and it's on video, turning around a couple weeks ago and referring to those same people whom he said were family and so on video, calling them criminals, calling a bunch of people, and he was quite upset when somebody referenced him as a criminal recently, no?
You know the answer to that, Rick?
Tim, don't play this with me, because when I ask, I like to play.
I'm just saying to you, Rick, but you know the answer. You know the answer to that question.
I know the answer, yes,
So
that's why I'm saying it.
Right.
But I don't want, when I say it, to say, Rick, that's not true, only Rick knows that. If you are a witness to it, don't be complicit. and saying, you're out of it. We, the members of the press, we in the press have a big job to do as well. Already, most of us have had our teeth and our testicles ripped away from us. So I don't know how much lower or how much at risk we are. If nobody will stand up, the press has to stand up and draw attention to what's going on so the authorities can see themselves in the mirror, so the supporters of the authorities who refuse to do anything can look at themselves in the mirror and decide whether they want to be men, women, human beings, or to live like animals. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for calling, Rick. Right, some information to share with you on the political front. I've just received news that the National Council of the Opposition United Workers' Party met last evening, and they made a decision regarding the candidate for VA4 South. That individual, I'm told, has been confirmed is Liana Johannes Paul, better known as Lady Lee, to contest the VA4 South seat on behalf of the Opposition United Workers' Party. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and we have a particular individual trying to call the broadcast. You might want to hear from that person, so I'll just call that individual right now. I know we are due for a commercial break, but let's see if we could get this call on the air right now. And in just a moment, of course, Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. So we'll continue to try, and then we will be going to a commercial break. So please stay with the broadcast. So we have the person online, I think. Hello, good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Timothy. Thank you so much for calling me back. This is Lisa Jawa here, Communications Director for the St. Lucia Labour Party.
Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
I want to address something that I find extremely concerning. We have a situation where a young man, a political aspirant at the time, encountered some challenges. He was involved in an accident and he lost his limb. It brought many persons from across party lines being sympathetic and sharing their support and their messages.
I thought you would have spoken about another young man, but we'll get to that in a moment. Continue, Lisa.
Yeah, we can speak about all the young men because this
Right.
is something that we need to address.
Mhm.
And I was thinking of the now Minister, Honorable Jeremiah Norbert.
Yeah.
Here he was leaving the St. Jude Hospital, trying to figure out how he could have gotten support or whatever support it was to immediately attend to the damage he was or the pain that he was experiencing. It so happened that he had to be transported to a hospital in St. Lucia and thereafter transported to Martinique. Thankfully, Honorable Jeremiah Norbert is walking around and he appears to be in good health. But Tim, what is so interesting about this situation is the fact that an ex-prime minister has taken a position of coming out and speaking of the help that he gave the citizen at the time who is now an MP. And if that were the case, there would have been nothing wrong with that because government is supposed to help everybody. But then he said that he helped Honorable Jeremiah Norbert. I'm pretty sure Honorable Jeremiah Norbert was taken aback by that. And questions were asked as to what support the ex-prime minister or his cabinet gave to the now MP. But Tim, the scariest thing about it all is that for the ex-prime minister to prove his point, he leaks WhatsApp messages between him in his capacity as prime minister at the time and the then leader of the opposition to make a point that he was indeed providing support to Jeremiah Norbert. Two things I want us to realize. One, where in those messages that were leaked that confirmed that there was support by the ex-prime minister, it said that 10,000 is given for such and such medical support. There is absolutely no evidence on the part of Honorable Jeremiah Norbert to substantiate the claim made by the ex-prime minister that $10,000 or any financial support was given. But instead of defending his name, if that's what he claims to do, The ex-prime minister should have come out with a receipt and said, but no, minister, you are wrong. This is where we went. And this is what check was written. And these are the receipts to prove that we indeed supported you. But no, he leaks personal messages. Personal WhatsApp messages. WhatsApp messages, not groups or teams or Zoomer. That's a one-on-one conversation with a gentleman who is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia and the then leader of the opposition. I think that is very distressing. It is very scary. And even UWP supporters need to be concerned about the messages that they share with their ex-prime minister, who is now the leader of the opposition.
Okay, hold that point, ma'am.
The reality is there is no way in those messages, since he has leaked them, to confirm that that is the case.
Okay.
But why would you go and put yourself in your capacity as a prime minister who should be holding the highest level of confidentiality of any citizen in this country and leak that in the public domain?
Okay,
Why
ma'am.
couldn't
Hold
you
on.
have dropped the receipts of the medical bills?
Okay, hold on. If you are being described as a liar, and reference is being made to that song by Lord Nelson, you hear lie? That is lie. You hear lie? That is lie. Your reputation is being besmirched. Don't you think you have the right to clear your name? As opposed to just come in and say, I did assist the gentleman, etc., etc. Don't you need to provide the evidence to quash this once and for all?
But that is what he should have done, Tim. That is my point.
But that's what
because what he leaked is not the evidence.
Because
what he leaked is a personal conversation with a citizen.
Because
Nothing
what was said,
in that
what was
message
what was
that.
also said that what was said by Jeremiah is that in Creole, ou kwe Philippe J. Pierre, kay kouye, Alain Chastain, pour assistance, pour moi, ou kwe sa? And the people started to chuckle. He clearly needed to clear the air on that particular issue. Are you saying that he lied in terms of the information that he provided?
First of all, nobody knows.
No, I'm just asking you. No. In your capacity as the public... Hold on. As the PRO of the SLP, the governing SLP, I'm in a position to say right now that there wasn't any kind of communication between the then leader of the opposition and the then prime minister. Are you in a position to say yes or no?
That is not the debate.
No, that is the issue.
Not whether there was communication
no, that
or not.
is the issue because
That
what is
is
being
not the
suggested...
issue.
What is being suggested
No,
is that the then prime minister did not assist at all. That is
But
what
where
is being
in the message
suggested.
did he say
No,
that he
forget the
assisted?
message. Forget the message. I'm asking you a
No,
point.
that is what we
I
are
am
trying to
asking
deal
you,
with.
ma'am, a pointed question, which is, are you in a position, since you're the PRO of the SLP, to say to me categorically and the audience categorically that the previous administration did not assist Mr. Jeremiah in getting assistance to travel to Martinique?
I can say that there was no assistance on our end. We have gone through all the records. There was no assistance. The leader of the opposition now made mention of $10,000. He said that they paid the medical bills for Honorable Jeremiah Norbert. This is why we are where we are today. That is absolutely false.
And there wasn't any
the
communication.
ex-prime minister-
There wasn't any communication between the two gentlemen.
It wasn't about whether it was communication or not.
No. I'm asking a simple question.
No.
No. Was there any because you would not have been privy to the communication at that level, Lisa Jawaye. You would not have been privy to the content, the kind of communication the two gentlemen had. I'm just asking if you are aware that they communicated on that particular issue.
What I am aware of is what appears to have been a conversation between the ex-prime minister and the leader of the opposition has been leaked into the public sphere.
Not up here.
I am aware of.
If you are the PRO,
if
you are the PRO and you're calling this program to address that particular issue, you should have collected all the necessary information to answer the question. So the two gentlemen, I'm asking you again. The two gentlemen, they had a conversation on that issue, yes or no? Did they have a conversation on the matter involving Mr. Jeremiah Norbert, as far as you're aware?
Tim, what we have before us is the fact that the leader of the opposition now is saying that he offered medical assistance. Whether Honorable Jeremiah Norbert cracked a joke on the platform
on a serious issue like that? A joke?
No, because you just said it. You just said it, Tim, and I'm trying to answer your question.
Mhm.
You just said he said it and he cracked it, he said it in Creole. Whether he said that or not, whether there was communication or not, that is not the issue.
What is the issue?
Is, did the Prime Minister at the time offer any sort of support to Honorable Jeremiah Norbert? And the answer that
Such
I have
as-
as
such
the
as-
communications director of the Labour Party
Mhm.
is that the answer is no.
So,
And
such as facilitating the opening,
so-called-
such as the opening of the airport. He did not facilitate the opening of the airport so that
The
Jeremiah can
so-called-
travel over to Martinique.
Tim, the so-called message,
Mhm.
the so-called messages, because these are WhatsApp messages. I know with AI and all of these things, anything can be fabricated. But I know I am calling
That's
to
laughable.
tell you
That's
that
laughable.
the information we have is there was no financial support to pay any of Honorable Jeremiah Norbert's bills by the then administration.
Okay,
and it is very
I
scary
suspect,
against
ma'am.
him
I
that a
suspect,
WhatsApp
ma'am.
conversation
I
between
suspect-
a citizen and a prime minister is
I
being leaked.
I suspect
If
this
it
is
is
no.
true-
I suspect that this is above your pay grade. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia should have called NewsSpin on this particular issue. In his,
Tim,
no, hold on.
You have
hold on.
also engaged
Hold on.
me, so I am
I am
providing
just-
a response to you.
I am just saying
you
to
called
you-
me back, you know.
Yes, but you
called
called me
back,
first, and I
when I said this is
extended
what
the
I wanted to
courtesy,
address, you
and I
allowed me to
extend
address
and I
it.
extended the courtesy of returning your call because I thought you had
And
something
I
important
appreciate that,
to say
Tim,
to me.
but
I'm
then-
just saying to you,
but
ma'am.
Then I am giving
I am
you a
just saying to
response.
you
if
that
you would like another response, that's a different thing.
this
but
is.
my response
I'm just
is
saying to
what
you,
your
ma'am. Hold
caller
on.
called, Tim.
This is
Tim,
above.
I don't want to quarrel with you.
I'm not quarreling.
arguing with you.
I'm just saying to
I
you.
am just
This is
responding to
this
what your
is
caller said.
this is above your pay grade. I should
That
have
is
been hearing
absolutely
now.
fine if you
I
believe
should have been
so,
hearing
but I'm
now from
also
Mr.
calling
Philip
you
J.
as a
Pierre,
citizen because citizens
or
called
I should be
before
hearing
and
now
said
from
that-
Mr. Jeremiah Norbert on this particular issue. They would be able to answer the pointed questions. You're not in a position to answer those questions, ma'am. That's what I'm saying to you.
But I am also answering a question that you asked me. I'm also answering a question that you asked me, and your listeners and the callers before who came on board and asked certain questions, they were not stopped because, of course, they didn't have evidence either. When they called the lines and said, this minister is a liar and this one is a liar, I'm calling to debunk because it is my responsibility. So, of course, I'm not saying that the Prime Minister or the Minister cannot offer an explanation as well, but I am coming to specifically deal with the issue of whether financial support was provided to Honorable Jeremiah Norbert, and that is false.
Okay, so let me
That
ask.
is false.
In the interest of time, let me
And
ask
thank you for that opportunity
Let me
to
ask you-
debunk those
let-
lies by
let
the
me-
ex-Prime Minister.
let
Tim.
me ask you
I
one
hope
other-
you have a good day.
Let me ask you another question, ma'am. Hold on the line. Are you there?
Go ahead, I'm here.
Yes, you sound jaded all of a sudden. You sound tired.
Never. I
Okay.
love conversations with you, Tim, and I
All
always
right.
appreciate the opportunity to engage you.
Okay, so let me ask you one final question. And that question is, what do you think about the comments that was made by Minister Richard Frederick on his program, Can I Help You, when he said Rosh's mom is implicated in the murder of his father?
If the minister says so, it's because the minister believes that he has in his capacity. Maybe that's what he believes, evidence to suggest that, or maybe there's information out there to suggest that. That is my position on that. If he would have made that statement, remember, he's also a legal mind, and he's been in government before. But for him to come out and make a statement like that, it suggests to anybody that there's reason why he would suggest that.
But
So-
how should the Prime Minister deal with that particular issue?
If that
The National
is, how should
Security
the Prime
Minister-
Minister,
the National Security
so
Minister.
Now you want me to answer questions above my pay grade? I can assume that the conversation. But Tim, you know what? In all honesty,
Yeah.
this is a serious matter. You're asking me a very serious question, and my response to it is that if the minister who runs a talk show would make a comment like that, is because he has information to suggest that, and if he doesn't, he is in a position to say whether that is the case or not. He runs a talk show every Thursday.
Should he share
I do
that
not know
information?
We'll wait till
Should-
next Thursday
should he
to hear,
share-
But I'm pretty sure he'll come out at any point.
Should he
and
share that
provide,
information? Should
more clarity on
should he
this.
share that information with the DPP? Should he share that information with the National Security Minister as well? Should he share that information with the police? You're talking about the
Repeat
murder.
that, sorry?
You're talking about somebody's murder. Somebody was murdered in the process. Should he share that sensitive information with his boss, the Prime Minister, National Security Minister, and the police and DPP as well?
Anybody who has sensitive information on any matter should be made to the police. I completely agree there. And I will reiterate that if the minister has said that, it's because he believes he has information that could suggest that.
Okay, ma'am. As always, thank you so much for speaking with us on
Thank
NewsSpin.
you, Tim.
Yes, you too. You just heard there from the Public Relations Officer of the St. Lucia Labour Party, and that's Government Senator Lisa Jawaye. We have something else to deal with. Let's take a quick commercial break. Back in just a moment. We have more things to focus on, and we'll conclude with comments from the chat room. Amanda.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With bouteille and viewport accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus takes charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
NewsSpin is transforming how you move. With our new electric vehicle charging stations, getting a quick and reliable charge is easier than ever. From Rodney Bay to Dennery, Viewport and Soufriere, we've got you covered. Our cutting-edge network offers both fast and standard charging options. Convenient, efficient, and always ready when you are. Just download the Flash Charge app from Google Play or the Apple App Store, and with a few simple taps, you can set up an account and link it to a credit card. Find a station or scan the QR code to start charging in seconds. Lucilac is powering your journey and driving us toward a cleaner, greener future. Charge ahead with Lucilac's EV stations. Lucilac electric vehicle chargers, powering progress, energizing the future.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of a secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control. All so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Are you tired of going from doctor to doctor, spending time and money, yet still not getting the answers you need? Now, at La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, we bring you the latest in medical technology, our state-of-the-art radiation-free full-body MRI. With unmatched accuracy, we can detect illnesses early, giving you the answers you deserve and the treatment you need, saving lives and saving money. No doctor referral needed. Results in just 24 to 48 hours. Plus, a free consultation with a doctor to explain all your results in detail. Don't wait. Take advantage of this special offer and book your full body MRI at our Cocoville, Rodney Bay, or Castries locations. Call 451-6559 now. La Clinique du Corps. Your health is our priority.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Still to come. Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room, and we might just take one final call or a bonus call. But in the meantime, We have on the line Mr. Teddy Francis, one of the organizers of the Legacy Calypso 2025, and that is scheduled for tomorrow after this very interesting week of NewsSpin. I think you need to let off some steam. Good afternoon to you, Teddy.
Good afternoon, Timothy. Good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
Energized.
How are preparations going for your show? How are preparations going?
Very good. Due in part to the slot on your show. The buzz is there. There's great buzz and excitement, just what we projected as part of Independence. We've always stated that Legacy provides a kind of grassroots relevance and momentum to the Independence celebrations, which is sometimes accused of being steeped in officialdom and cocktails and jacket and tie affairs. And so we're happy that the cast that we put down after the 7th year of Legacy continues, the event and the brand continue to grow, and that the event has really resonated, connected well with the public, and there's a tremendous buzz about the event as part of Independence celebrations and as an entertainment event in its own right.
Let's talk about some of the performers. You have from St. Lucia, you have Invader, you have Ashanti, you have some folks coming from the other islands as well, including Barbados.
Yep, we have the St. Lucian legends, Sydney, starting with the trending artist now, the most trending artist, Sly, who's tremendously popular because of its nationalistic song, Damn Proud Lucian, along with Alpha, who's a great crowd favorite. He's back from England after a year working out there, and the crowd could hardly wait for him. And of course, the perennial favorites, Ashanti and Invader, who really come to light in this annual Legacy show, where we celebrate it's a feel-good kind of nostalgic event, sing-along, and they really do well, along with the younger cast who will be on earlier. We have an opening kind of segment where a number of promising young Calypsonians do the classic numbers of a number of veterans, and so it should be an interesting twist, along with the mix of artists with the two Caribbean icons, Alison Hines and Rupi, who are really legends in their own right, should provide a very entertaining mix tomorrow night at the Pavilion at Rodney Bay.
And the event starts at what time?
It starts about 8:15, because there's a little interlude from 8, and about 8:15, bang, the actual on-stage starts.
Okay, thank you so much for speaking with us, Teddy. All the best.
So we see you there?
Yes.
You'll be there?
As usual, I'll be there. Have a good weekend. All right, we about to have a bonus call, the bonus caller of the day in just a moment, but let's see if we go through some of the comments in the chat room. Amanda.
Someone says this week's NewsSpin has been epic. Another comment, elections coming up, things getting hot. A NewsSpinner here says, so basically Lisa is saying if someone lies on your name, don't defend yourself. Another comment, when the truth is revealed, that's the behavior that follows. I support Chas, prove them lying. Another comment reads, when RF putting people files on air, what do you have to say about it? Someone says she's avoiding the question. Another comment reads, why would the leader of the opposition have a copy of the receipts years later? Did he pay the bill from his personal funds or the government's purse?
We have our bonus call of the day, and he's on WhatsApp. He's the leader of the opposition, Mr. Alan Chasney, our bonus caller of the day. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Hey, Tim, good afternoon and
Hi.
Happy Friday.
Same to you, sir.
If you would give me the liberty, I really would like to talk about two issues. Clearly one in response to the comments we heard from the press secretary.
Yeah, the public relations officer of the SLP. Go ahead, please.
My apologies. And then the second one with regards to the comments by Minister Frederick last night. So, first of all, if you by chance were to replay the statement I made on your show, which was the first time that I made public of this situation with Jeremiah and the incident that happened at the hospital, I never really got into a whole lot of detail about what support the government gave or didn't give. I simply had made the point that when Jeremiah had the accident, that he benefited from the goodwill of the people from Micoud North, the prayers and support from the people of St. Lucia, young people in particular. He benefited from the support of his own family and when called upon, from the government of St. Lucia. The purpose of making that comment, Tim, was to compare it to what just happened with a constituent in his constituency. So here it is that an individual in his constituency that we found out from Jeremiah that was a supporter of his. In fact, he said that the gentleman still had his bumper sticker on his car, who got into a car accident and lost both of his legs. And the point I was making is that the minister, the representative, did nothing to help this man. So I've been in a cabinet. Here it is, you would have had a person who is the representative of Micoud North, who is also the Minister of Disabilities, coming to cabinet, seeking assistance from cabinet to send the person to Martinique or wherever it is for him to have obtained support. The clincher on his presentation in cabinet would have been that he personally had been through it. So only Jeremiah would understand and appreciate firsthand what this gentleman was going through. And to your point, this gentleman was even worse because he lost both legs. Both legs. And Jeremiah would know what it meant for him to have gone to Martinique and what it contributed to his recovery. Here it is then he became elected, and many people have suggested that a significant part of the support that came to him in the last elections was sympathy and support for him based on what he had gone through. And it was for an opportunity like this where he could have shown, one, empathy, because he actually would have experienced it himself, and generosity. But instead, he has acted selfishly and has had shown no gratitude, because instead of now taking his own experience and being the representative, being in cabinet, being the Minister of Disabilities, being a person who went through all of this and would have known the psychological and trauma that this would have caused, and to have gone and spared no stone to have made sure that his constituent had benefited from the same thing that he had benefited from. Instead, he did nothing. And the gentleman was left at OKEU and then was discharged. And if you remember, I said the reason for him being discharged is horrific. But I'm giving the opportunity for the administrative leaders of OKEU to come to the public and explain to the public why a man, which is a double amputee, was sent home, and on that same day that he died. Now, the press secretary calling up, wanting to try to make this about whether in fact I have breached some kind of secrecy act between myself and the former prime minister? Really? But the humanitarian part of this is just being washed aside. That tells you how lost the Labour Party is. What a disappointment that Jeremiah must be for the thousands of young people, for the thousands of people in Micoud North who thought that they genuinely elected a person with a conscience, somebody with empathy, and somebody who was in their position and would protect them. He has shown us that he does not have that capacity. And the fact is he's in a toxic environment of other people who also don't share this farce of we're putting you first. How many more stories do we have to see to show that that is completely false? They have never put the people of St. Lucia first. And every time there's been an opportunity for them to do it, they don't. Something as trivial as a 2.5% tax. And all the people who have complained about it, no, you don't give relief to the people who are complaining, the average person in St. Lucia. You give relief to a businessman who doesn't even need it and convinces you that he does need it. This is disgraceful. And what transpired on your show today is further evidence that this Labour Party does not deserve the trust and the confidence of the people of St. Lucia to govern this country. The second part, Tim, is what Richard Frederick did. Richard Frederick is now known to all St. Lucians and is attempting in the best way that he can to protect whatever is left of his own image. And where he went last night is the lowest of low. But again, it explains the mentality of Richard Frederick. He believes that his show on Thursday is the judge and jury. And I dare say that he's also now the law enforcement, meaning that after you've been found guilty, he's going to imprison you as well. He's going to dish out whatever penalty you're supposed to have. He's a law to himself. Where does he get the audacity to want to now be the DPP, to be the commissioner of police, and to be the judge last night in determining the death of Raj Clark's father? And was this a topical thing for him before Raj Clark decided to join the fray of politics? So this is just an opportunity for him to diminish and demean and destroy a person that he sees is a real threat to him, because Raj Clark is the real deal. He grew up in the city. He understands more than Richard Frederick does. What it is, Raj Clark has displayed more character than Richard Frederick. Because every single day that there's a scandal in this country, it is Richard Frederick who is behind it. Whether it's the Bonanza land, whether it's land sales, whether it's ORC, whether it's what's been taking place at the cemeteries with all these fake contracts, all the allegations he made of corruption of my government, and he is now continuously to have to eat his vomit. Today is Friday. There's an opportunity for St. Lucians to think and see for themselves. The evidence is there that Richard Frederick and Labour Party were meant for each other. They share the same values, the same characteristics, and it's about governing at all cost, because it's more important for them to be in a position of authority and for them to make the decisions. And anytime anybody questions, they become the negative people. This is not what our democracy is about. And I'm ashamed of what these gentlemen are doing and how they represent the people of St. Lucia. And I know that all of us now are becoming more and more ashamed every day, disgusted, and also fearful of the power that they've accumulated in the government of St. Lucia. Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you so much, sir. You just heard there from the leader of the parliamentary opposition, Mr. Alan Chastney. Some quick comments from the chat room, Amanda, then we'll conclude the broadcast.
Someone says this legacy lineup is not impressive for me. Another comment, Lisa is so aggravated about information exposure by Shas. Could you imagine that? Politics in St. Lucia will get worse with people like her. It's not about truth or country, but about party and power. A few comments from earlier. Someone says an outside agency with no connection to local law enforcement officials needs to investigate all those claims. Another comment, Jeremiah should have apologized to the nation having seen the facts presented by Chastney. A NewsSpinner says here, I'm just here to see which lowlife will be in support of such disgusting behavior from a minister. Another comment reads, since Roche made his entry into the political arena, his political is crumbling. What you are doing, young man. Another comment, the lawyers are afraid. Someone says, pay attention to those who are silent on this subject when their very mandate and obligation is to protect and serve. Someone says, as evidence on things have been on in St. Lucia for some time now, nothing will become of this, and that, my friends, is a true and a sad reality of Fair Helen, where justice is served based on who you know. Another comment reads, but Rick, the entire system is political. They will not investigate or get involved. If it was a layman that had made such a comment on national television, you would have heard politicians, including the Prime Minister, calling for an investigation. So this minister can spew anything that he wants and not a word from government officials or the Justice Department. Team St. Lucia finished. Another comment reads, can you imagine PJP trying to get Richard to behave properly as a minister? Another comment, congratulations, Lady Lee, we are ready. And that's it for me, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for the hard work and going through all those comments and deciding which ones that you'd be sharing with the wider world. Finally from us, our NewsSpin News of the Day. The NewsSpin News of the Day reads, new law in Brazil restricts smartphones in schools. New law in Brazil restricts smartphones in schools. This has been very much a fascinating week. Thank you so much for tuning in via Power 97.9 FM, our WhatsApp, our Facebook page, as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. Have yourself a great weekend, and we'll be back, God willing, on Monday afternoon, 12:30, with another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, NewsSpin.